Yishem Adonai B'Otav Adolam. This Torah class will be dedicated for all those who need the speedy recovery, and for Hashelema, especially to the Murphy's family, and to Lishama ben Avraham, Talelea Batodelia, Batodelia, So as I said, only one person sent me an answer about the question about the bees. Well, how is it possible that we are eating something that comes from non-kosher animal? Yeah. So it was only, what's your wife name? What's your wife's name again? No, your wife. Belia. Belia, I think it was the very next day, and it was in Spanish. So I have to translate it. So I use Google translation. So I translate it to English and translate it to Hebrew to make sure. So you get something special. This is a very special blessing in this picture. It's called Birkat HaBayit, blessing in the house, which means Bezeh HaSha'ar lo yavod. In this gate will be no sorrow. Bezot hadira lo tavod. In this flat, wherever you put it, will be no trouble. Bezot hadelet, with this door will be lo bahel, will be scare, no anxiety, no problem. Bezot hamahlaka, in this place will be no disagreements. Yesh shalom bayit. Bezeh hamakom, in this place, wherever you put it, Bezrat Hashem, tiye beracha v'shalom. You're always going to have blessing and peace.
Amen.
Okay,
wow.
So put it in wherever you at, and Hashem in your permanent home.
Wow.
I promise. If I have more, I would give more.
Yeah. Is that blessing for the house?
העיקר כתוב למטה בברכה מועצת פועלי אגודת אבל לא קוראים בעברית. מועצת נס ציונה וטעם העירייה. טוב. So we're going to continue, and Be'ezrat Hashem may be finishing the so let's answer the question about the bees.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm not going to read, I'm going to tell you the whole thing. You can read it yourself, you can Google it, it's very easy. It goes, every food for...
They gave it to me back.
No, give that for your wife. For your wife. For the answer.
This is for you.
Yeah, thank you. That's to give you the sandwich for the sea is in the best.
Uh-huh. Hey, if they want to see it, they need to earn it. They didn't work for it, forget it. They have, every animal, the food goes through the stomach. And especially with, let's say, the cow, the blood turns to milk. It's a kosher animal, you can drink the milk. But bees are different. This special nectar goes through a very special sac. It doesn't go through the stomach, where the waste goes.
Oh.
So they take the nectars from the flowers. It goes to this special sac. There's some chemical reaction, and it goes out as a puke. They throw it up, right? Honey is a throw up. Yeah. Okay. Therefore, it's permitted. It doesn't go through the system of the stomach. Now, you want to read more about it? There's more to discuss. You can go ahead and do it in Google. I'm just answering really quickly, giving you the answer in a nutshell. Therefore, this is why it is permitted. Okay? We are continuing the Beracha of Shehakol. So last time we learned about the drinking, or eating different type of food, that the Beracha is specialized as Shehakol. For example, a raw egg. Remember we talked about it? Next. About and I think we also talked about the salt. What about vinegar? Did we speak about vinegar? We speak about vinegar, right? I remember. Okay. What's the beracha over aranis, arak, whiskey, שהכל נהיה בדברו? What's the beracha you do after you finish to eat? Remember, in Judaism, in the halacha, everything you eat, you say beracha before. When you finish, you say beracha after. Correct? So what the beracha we do, for example, on, I don't know, apple. I eat an apple, I say before, ha'etz. What beracha I do when I finish the apple? Or I finish eating the apple? I don't have to finish the apple. People mistakenly think, oh, I didn't finish the apple, I don't have. No, you ate enough, just enough. The minimum required is like a half an egg. Best is an egg, size of an egg, the weight of an egg, 56 grams. So you ate that amount of apple. You ate a half an apple, okay? We should already do beracha before and after. Now my question to you is, what's the beracha should be said on apple, eating apple, or even apple sauce? Anybody here ate ever apple sauce? It's very American.
Yeah.
Apple sauce. What's beracha you do on apple? Ha'etz. What beracha after? It's called borei nefashot. Baruch atah Elokeinu melech. Jorge, can you let her sit over there? And she do a translation? Who? Oh, he's coming. Okay. So what beracha we do? Borei nefashot. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu borei nefashot. You go before the Beit Din. Simple question. Rabbi Fried might ask you, or other rabbis. I'm giving you now coffee or tea.
Yeah.
He wants to see if you say beracha. They offer you something to drink. So some people, they don't want to get in trouble. No, I'm not hungry, I'm not thirsty. Don't want to get in trouble. So no. No, I give you something to say beracha here. So you take a bottle of water, you take tea. So I make it easy on you. You take a bottle of water. You drink. What beracha before? Shehakol. What beracha after? Nefashot. Right? Yeah, good. Apple. You eat the apple. What's the beracha? Beracha before? Ha'etz. After? Nefashot. Good. You drink tea. So hot tea. What beracha before? What beracha after? Huh? No bracha.
No bracha?
No bracha. I drink whiskey. What bracha before? Shehakol. Bracha after?
I don't know because I don't drink.
Huh? No bracha. Aranis. You heard about Aranis 101? Special is a boutique drink in Dallas. It's of arak. And bracha before? Shehakol. Bracha after? No bracha. Ice cream. What's bracha before? Shehakol. Bracha after? No bracha. What's going on here? Hot soup. What bracha before? Shehakol. Bracha after? No bracha. Listen, I mentioned very strange things. Special food. Very hot beverages. Coffee, tea, soup. Very cold. Ice cream. Very strong alcoholic beverages like whiskey, arak, aranis, and so forth and so on. These kind of drinks that I mentioned, it's just a very limited list. There's no bracha after. And what's the reason? I think we will discuss it be'ezrat Hashem later. I'm not sure if we can discuss it. But the idea is anything that you cannot fill up your mouth fully because either it's too cold or it's too hot, or normally people don't fill up their mouth with whiskey, right? They take small shots. There is no bracha after, only before. Always the bracha before is a must, even if you just taste. You want to see if you will like it, so you drink a little bit of it. You're enjoying from the sweetness or any other special taste. You have to say bracha before. But after, it depends on how much you can feed in your mouth. So how we drink hot coffee, small sips.
Yeah.
Was right? So if you drink cold tea, temperature room, you have to say bracha before and after. Soft drinks, before after. Even soda, full of gas, what do you call it? Oxygen, whatever.
Carbonated drinks.
Carbonated drinks. Good. It's more accurate. You have to say beracha before and after. Okay? Questions? Questions?
If I drink coffee, it's the same temperature like a tea. So,
Very good question. Bracha before and after. Because I drink it when it's cold. Even if there's iced coffee.
Yeah.
It's coffee, but it's ice. Even if I made it hot and I left it, and I come back after 15 minutes, already cold, and you drink it cold, you need to say bracha after. Because you drink it in the beginning with cold. Yes, cold. Not hot. If it's hot, you're exempt from the beracha after. Okay? So you need to be aware of that. They're going to test you. Let me tell you something. In the Jewish world, in the yeshivot, when you come go to shidduchim, I know because they did it to me. When you go first time to the parents' house, when they go to the Rabbi and Adelia's house, so they put a lot of food on the table. There's special brachot there. Some of them complicated. I noticed that as soon as I got in. And this is well known, but I learned the halacha. So they want to see what's the order you go. If you go with mizonot first, and you go this, and you go that, with beracha. You have to be polite at first. No, I'm not hungry. No, you have to say bracha in the home. No, really. No, you have to. And then they look, and her brother, Rabbi Nakas was taking notes. So Baruch Hashem, we passed the test. We know that people testing you, people seeing the way you act, the way you behave. Even if your children are testing you. You go before the Beit Din. They'll ask you a question, and they also see how you behave, how you act. Some go into the room, they ignore the mezuzah.
Yeah.
What, you don't like mezuzot? What you should do?
Hold. Kiss.
Kiss the mezuzah. Don't take it. Just kiss the mezuzah, okay? Yes. It's out of respect.
It's not a command.
No, it's not mandatory. But you do it, it's a mitzvah. You show Hashem that you favor His mitzvot, you get the mitzvah for it. It's out of respect. There's a segula.
It's like this.
If you want to have a successful day and make good money,
Yeah.
before you leave the house, you put your right hand on the mezuzah, and the special blessing you're saying, that day will be successful. It depends on the kavanah, the meaning. You mean what you're saying? Hashem will bless. The names of Hashem is in the parasha, in the parchment there. Shema Israel, Ahavta, Shin Daled Yud, Shomer Daltot Israel. Hashem is watching over us. Hashem says, okay, this guy's with me, I'm with him. Some people just pass by in and out. They don't even know they have mezuzah. Some people put it in the wrong side, upside down. I told you, we need to study one day the laws of mezuzot. I went to a few houses, most of the mezuzot were not kosher, or it's not a kosher parchment, or it's just a copy in the copy machine. A lot of troubles in the house due to non-kosher mezuzot. Some says, oh, I just need one in the interest of the house. No. You see the letter chet, every place you have a mashkof, under the doorpost. Okay, you have to have mezuzah. You must. Even the garage. I had a guy that I had to put 3 mezuzot. So in the garage, so you have three entrances for each car. Each one is square like chet. You have to put mezuzah. Oh, really? This guy is so wealthy. You understand? You have 3 in the garage, and he's crying over $55. He's spending thousands on nonsense, and this thing watch over you and protect you, and so much blessing. Tefillin, give me the cheapest. Talit, oh, what's the cheapest? Okay.
Do you still have?
Yes, we have mezuzah, no problem. After shiur, if anybody wants, please let me know. So we talked about locust. I see it here. Weird halacha. I'm sure you'll have question after this halacha. The proper blessing for any cooked food that has begun to spoil, but it's still edible, is Shehakol niya bidvaro. Even if it was mezonot and you got some mold on it, but you want to eat it, I don't know why. If it is totally spoiled, no blessing at all may be recited on it. Likewise, if a fruit or vegetable has begun to rot, but it is still edible, its blessing is Shehakol niya bidvaro. Sometimes there are, for example, sweet peppers or cucumbers. They are not solid. They have wrinkles. Some people will consider it spoiled. They will throw it away. Some, by the way, if you want to revive cucumber, there's a trick. You take a bowl. You put water with ice cubes, and you put all the any vegetable you want there. After an hour, they're fresh like you bought them in the store. I've tried it. I saw this hack, and it worked. I'm not talking about spoil. It wasn't spoiled. It was with wrinkles. It was like old. I made it. Okay, so it was. It went back to life. So the blessing Shehakol, if the fruit is so rotten that is disgust to a person attempting to eat it, no blessing at all may be recited. Oh, what if I want to eat cumin, anise? Anise. The correct blessing for herbs that are used as spices but not as food by themselves is Shehakol niya bidvaro. You know the grape leaves that they have inside the rice, something like that? It's also Shehakol niya bidvaro. Honey, bee honey, like the syrup of dates, calls for the blessing of Shehakol niya bidvaro. Honey is the product of flower nectar sucked up by the worker bees and converted into honey in their glands. Nevertheless, the halacha does not consider it to be a vegetable product since the original flavor of the nectar is altered. There's another thing that people eat. You think you don't eat, but you eat it. The proper blessing for edible seaweed. When do you eat seaweed? Sushi. Seaweed is Shehakol niya bidvaro. Seaweed sheets, you need to check each and every one of them. It's like a paper.
Yeah.
Check each and one of them by looking looking through a light. If you see, I forgot how you call this animal. It look like a horse. Seahorse. Oh, seahorse. Called seahorse. The little one. Sometimes they can be found in it. In the process, so make sure there is clean from bugs, seahorse images or residues, and you may use it. Even those that there are none that doesn't have a kosher symbol. Okay, it's a real seaweed. You may use it as long as you're checking them. Right. There's a lot of food, not a lot, but there's many type of food out there that can be edible. You can eat it without kosher symbol on it. Okay? And, okay. For example, I don't know, some type of soda. I don't have the list, but some of them, okay, tahini, rice. All vegetables and fruit that are not processed, you don't have to have kosher symbol on it. Regular milk doesn't have to be kosher. It comes from the cow. Okay? Huh? Eggs. But make sure it's from chicken.
Yes.
You go to Asian store, you find eggs from different animals. We're talking about regular chicken, so it doesn't have to be kosher. I mean, it has to be kosher. It doesn't have a kosher symbol on it.
Is it a regular milk?
No, it doesn't have to. Chocolate milk, yes, because it's flavored.
Yeah.
Anything flavored milk.
What else? There's a lot of food out there that doesn't. Huh?
The beer.
Beer, regular beer, non-flavored.
No, okay.
No flavored.
What about frozen fruit?
Frozen fruit are okay as long as they're not processed. It doesn't have to have kosher symbol on it. There are some diced mangoes and stuff like that. Apples, people do smoothie out of it. It's okay if it's just the fruit. Even if you go to a store here, let's say Tamtam, and you want to buy a plate that is already pre-cut vegetables, it's okay to be used.
Fruit only.
Even if the knife they use is not a kosher knife, because they dealing with when they're cutting it, it's cold, and there's no. Bottom line, it's no problem. I don't have time to explain right now everything, but that's the idea. Questions? Do we have any questions online?
I buy the other day some fruit.
Huh?
I buy the other day some frozen fruit, and someone has the symbol and the other one doesn't.
Well, I'm not sure. I have to see. I don't know. The proper blessing at available seawood Shehakol niyabi dvaron, since the plants absorb all their nutrients from the water and not from the ground. This is similar to the halacha of mushrooms. Although the seaweed may be rooted to the seabed, the roots serve only to hold in its place, not to absorb nutrients from the ground. If someone chooses to eat a form of seaweed that does not provide any eating pleasure, such as dried kelp powder or capsules, no blessing is recited. Sometimes there's vitamins. Be careful with vitamins. I found a lot of problems with vitamins that they might have shark oils, fish non-kosher oil, gelatin from non-kosher animals. Be careful. It could be from pigs, from different animals. So some of them okay even without kosher symbol, but you have to ask the Va'ad Kashrut, they're expert. Whatever I don't know, I'll send them and they tell me if it's kosher or not. This is their job to know. Gum. Chewing gum. I told you there are kosher, there are gums called must. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Must, for example. Or there's a line of kosher gums, candies that look similar to the non-kosher. Mentos, for example. It's a good example. You should only buy the kosher Mentos. They are different, coming from the same factory, but from a different line of production. Okay, it's when they're running the product in the manufacturer, they're making sure it's going to be this day or the day or two, whatever they schedule it for, with kosher ingredients. So they're cleaning up all the machines, and then they producing kosher food, candies. They're packaging it, and that's it. After that, it's not kosher. Look, for example, Mentos or any other candy that it has the kosher symbol in it. Otherwise, it probably has non-kosher gelatin, which comes from animals' bones.
Gelatin is from
Animals' bones. No. So you might chewing pork, not knowing. Me? I eating pork? I never. Yes, you did. Flavored chewing gum calls for the blessing of Shehakol niyabi dvaron. one must not follow the opinion that some have posted that no blessing at all is to recite on chewing gum. Why would I say a beracha for chewed gum when I'm chewing gum if I don't swallow it? Food I eat. This one I'm just chewing. The flavor. Thank you.
So you do bracha for the gum?
You must do bracha because your mouth enjoy the sweetness. Enjoy the food in that way or another. Give me an example when you taste food or you eat food and you don't say beracha at all. You know, for example, when you're cooking, just want to see if I need to add some salt. So you taste. Don't need to do beracha. Right, to try. What if I take, for example, I'm cooking meat soup or chicken soup with chicken in it, and I drink the soup. I have to watch for 6 hours, right? Like I ate the meat itself, because the soup already absorbed the taste of the chicken or the meat. Fine. In which case, I won't have to keep 6 hours. Nonetheless, I taste it, because when we cook, we want to taste, right? And some wonder, hold on, if I'm tasting from it, now I have to keep 6 hours till I eat dairy. And then what condition? If you didn't swallow, if you spit it to the sink, God forbid, not back to the pot, right? I hope. So, you never know, believe me. Some people don't want to waste. So, if you didn't swallow it, you don't have to keep 6 hours. If you swallow it, you're done. You have to watch for 6 hours, then you eat dairy.
How can you taste if you don't swallow?
No, you can taste.
I don't understand that.
How can you taste it if you don't swallow?
Just the tongue, you don't have to swallow. You just see if there's salty, or there's too much or salt, or it's too spicy, and so forth and so on. Okay?
What about things like cough drops?
Oh, that's a good one. I have one.
Cough drops?
Okay, this is a good question. It's a problem in the halacha in regards to cough. We call cough drops, right?
Yeah.
Or candies,
Or lozenge?
or the one. What do you call the one for the heartburn? Tums.
High acid.
Antacid. So if it's like a candy, it's a candy form. You enjoy from it. You have to say beracha. For some medicine, they put cherry flavor or whatever flavor. So it would be easy to swallow. So the poskim debated if you need to say beracha or not, because it's not for the sake of enjoying, the sake of drinking the medicine. The best method would be, before drinking this sweet medicine, take just a little bit water, say beracha, Shehakol, have in mind to cover for the medicine, and you're done. Make sense?
Yeah.
Rabbi,
I got you.
chicken and meat is the same time you need to wait 6 hours?
Mm-hmm. Chicken and meat are equal to keep 6 hours.
So why chicken yes and fish no?
Because it's a different type of animal. This under the sea, the water, and this one on the ground. And the Torah separate these two species. Alright? I give you another answer. Our sages assumed or calculated that it takes around 6 hours to your body to absorb this kind of meat completely. Chicken and meat. But with fish, it goes much faster. So they were not strict about fish. Right.
So fish is not considered meat at all?
You call it meat because it's a fish meat, but it's not. You don't have. You can even eat it with no Sephardi no, but Yemenite and Ashkenazi eat dairy and fish together. Sephardi, they're separating it.
Ashkenazi?
Huh?
They do that? Ashkenazi? They
Ashkenazi, no Ashkenazi.
Ashkenazi.
No. Nazis are in German.
Yeah. I'm not talking about that.
They are, yeah. The main prohibition for not eating, or the reason, is because it says kasher letzaraat, can bring sickness to people. So some poskim said that was an issue many years ago, and in other community they never had that issue, even if they ate milk and dairy together. Milk and dairy and fish together, it was no issue. Some even said that it was a mistake, a typo in the Shulchan Aruch. But the custom is for some communities in Sephardi to avoid, so they don't eat lux. You know what lux?
Yes.
It's a salmon with smoked salmon with cream cheese, which is really good. But they're avoiding it because it's milk and this together. At the end of the day, especially the Rambam, Maimonides, speaks about it. Whatever we eat is what we become. It goes through the blood system and affects our life. This is why one of the reasons we don't eat food with blood in it. We have to take out the blood with salt. Meat goes through a very special process. We wash it before sucking it in the salt, so we will take out the blood, but then washing it again, or putting it on a fire, on barbecue, so the fire will take out the blood. Blood is not permitted. There's only one case you can drink a cup full of blood, and it's kosher. Cup full of blood, and it's kosher. Which blood? Fish. Thank you.
Fish blood?
Fish blood.
No.
Some use fish blood as a sauce. Some, the doctor says you need to drink this kind of, I don't know, you may drink it. But it's a condition that you put some of the scales, the fish scales, in it. So whoever watches says, oh, it's from a fish. I can eat steak and drink milk at the same time. What milk? Almond milk.
What do you say?
But what's the condition? I have to put either almond on it, or to leave the box next to it, so the observant, the outlooker will see and say, oh, this is, it's not drinking milk, it's almond. I see the box next to him. All right? So people mistakenly won't think it's permitted. You'd be surprised how much people learning from other people's behavior, especially if you're a teacher, a mentor, you're a great rabbi. Remind me about Moshe Feinstein. You heard about Moshe Feinstein, the great tzaddik. Chacham Ovadia reminding him many times. He's the posek, the rabbi of Ashkenazim in America. Rabbi Moshe Feinstein came from Russia and was in New York. One day he visited a house. I think they had Shiva or something. I don't remember what happened there, but he was there, and so one of the people there saw Rabbi Moshe Feinstein going for the milk to add to the coffee, and he lifted one of the boxes, he put it down, and took the other one. So one of the people there saw, it says, I know why. The first box of milk, non-kosher. He wrote it down. He announced it in the shul. And all of a sudden, the company noticed that for many days, they're almost not selling anything. It was a great loss. And they heard, because Moshe Feinstein market is non-kosher. So they went to Moshe Feinstein and said, what happened, Rabbi? The Mashgiach is here. Everything is good. He didn't tell us anything. What happened? He said, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't say anything about your milk. Your milk is good and kosher. Yes, but people says no. They learned. They investigated. They got to this guy, and he said, "I saw the rabbi. What he did. This is why I make the announcement." So they told Rabbi Moshe Feinstein. And Rabbi Feinstein says, "No, I remember the event. I was there. The box was empty, so I took the other one with that milk. That's it." You see what can happen, what can come out of it? You know what? Remind me another thing. Moshe Feinstein was a great tzaddik. He has a responsa, question answer about halacha. Chacham Ovadia Yosef, appreciate him very much. He mentioned him many times in his halachot. And he said, I read just recently a short story that he wrote in the introduction to his book. Something unbelievable. You won't believe what I'm about to tell you. When Rabbi Moshe Feinstein write it, you know it's true. And Moshe Feinstein says before he came to America, he was a rabbi in Russia. He was a young rabbi. One of the people there became sick. But it was very strange. His mouth was swollen and his tongue was swollen. He could barely speak all of a sudden. So he went to visit him, and there's some people there, and he turns to the rabbi and says, "Rabbi, I know what happened to me. I want to tell you why it happened to me." He asked everybody to leave, and Rabbi testifying from first hand. He heard it from the person himself. He says that he was talking about Torah, the weekly parasha, and he learned about Avraham Avinu and Lot. They're separated. Avraham Avinu went to one place, and Lot to another place. Eventually Lot chose to be in Sodom. Angels coming, telling Avraham Avinu after the Brit Milah he's going to have a son. And they're saying the angels are going to save Lot. You're all familiar with the story, right? Sodom was destroyed completely. Lot's wife turns to become a pillar of salt. By the way, for homework, what was her name?
I don't know. That's what I know.
What was Lot's wife's name? 3 names. Well, give me one. 3 names. Give me one. Homework for next week. So Lot's wife died on the spot. The girls, 2 girls of Lot, thought the entire world destroyed. So what did they do? Everybody knows. Their father drank Lot. Drank a lot of alcohol. He probably said Shehakol before. And he drank the half a barrel. And his first daughter was with him intimately. She became pregnant. The second girl with her father, she became pregnant. And she called the first one, her son, Moab, from my father. The second one, Ammon. Ammon and Moab, nations that we'll meet later on in the Bible. So this guy is telling Rabbi Feinstein, Rabbi, and I was telling the people, what's up with these girls? What did they do? How they could be with their own father? Disgusting. What is this? It's not possible. He said, Rabbi, that night I saw in the dream 2 women coming to me, covered completely. I couldn't see their faces. And they said to him, we are the daughters of Lot. And we're inviting you for the court in Shamayim. You're going to come soon. And you talk against us, Lashon Hara, you're going to have punishment like the spies. Same the spies spoke Lashon Hara on the land of Israel. You're going to have the same punishment. His tongue got swollen At some point, days later, I don't know, a day or two, the airways got blocked and he died from suffocation. And Moshe Feinstein said, we don't know the figures or the actors in the Tanakh, in the Bible. We should not speak on any of them. The Bnot Lot told him in that dream, and the Talmud, by the way, said, Bnot Lot leshem shamayim nitkavnu. They had a good intention. They thought in their mind the world starting like happens with Noah. Now it's only them and their father. They found out later that there's people around, still survive. So they still named, they could get away. How they could get away? Because they could say, you know, I'm pregnant from God. God put the baby in my womb. You know, they could make up their own religion. They will get away, go get off the hook. But they want to say, no, you can only get pregnant, man and a woman, period. That's it. And they took all this responsibility and all this case over their shoulders. And the Talmud says, don't talk negatively against the Bnot Lot because they have a good intention. They didn't know. So before we judge other people, we should learn well who were they.
View all sides of the angle.
Rav Moshe Feinstein wrote this story in the introduction of his book. Next. My brother-in-law came from Israel and he brought us some nice food, special food, Israeli food, best. One of the food was, the next halacha, you're wondering what beracha we should say. Candied almonds or pecans, what the beracha over pecans? Ha'etz. But sometimes the pecans are coated with sugar. It's a mixture of sugar and flour or caramel. So this is a candy already. They're selling it here in America also in big bags, and you make a salad and you throw some, you put some, right? Is the beracha still a etz or now it's considered candy? It's not a raw pecan. It's a pecan that's coated with caramel. Is it candy? So it loses its status as a fruit? ¿Comprende? You understand the question?
Yeah, it's a fruit, yeah.
Candied almonds or pecans definitely requires the blessing of Borei Priya, while candied peanuts require the blessing of Borei Priya Adama. These nuts are coated with a thin glaze of caramelized sugar or a mixture of sugar and flour. And it is obvious that the glaze is added simply to sweeten the nut, which remains the major ingredient. So for the nuts, it will be Adama. And for the pecan, it will still be Ha'etz. We just coat it. Remember, I don't know if they still sell it today. I think in Mexico they're still selling it. In Israel, when I was young, they were selling, you remember maybe it's an apple on a stick and it's coated with red. What's the beracha? So you can lick the sugar, Shehakol. When you get to the apple, you say, it's. Okay. Two blessings. Some rabbi says, if you care only about the candy, you don't care about the apple, you say just Shehakol. Even if you eat later the apple, when you get to it, you don't have to say beracha because you care, you bought it for the sweetness. But for those who wants to have more brachot, that's what you do. For example, there is ice cream with biscuit in both sides, right?
Yeah.
Or you put ice cream in what do you call this? The cans. The cones, but they're made out of something you say bracha mezonot. So you have two brachot. You have mezonot and you have the ice cream. So take advantage and says two brachot. It doesn't cost you much. They selling in Sam's Club and in Costco. They're following the chocolate cover almonds or raisins. It's really good. Not recommended if you're on diet. But the raisins require 2 blessings. One must chip off some of the chocolate and then recite 2 blessings. One for the fruit and one for the chocolate. The correct blessing for peanuts coated with a mixture of flour and sugar is boreh mine mezonot. You want to ask something? Okay. Okay, we have 2, 3, 4 more minutes, and we conclude the class with something that is really common. What's really common? People drinking water all day. They're working. They're wondering what the beracha should be said. Water, we know Shehakol. But 5 minutes later, I'm drinking again from the bottle. It's a long drive. I'm driving 4 hours to Houston. I drink now. An hour later, I'm drinking again. Should I say the beracha again? It's not after 5 minutes. 1 hour. So the very important. And another question is, I'm not thirsty. I'm drinking the water, the half cup or the whole cup full of water, just to wash away the
Residue.
spiciness of the food that I ate. Do I have to say beracha over the water? I ate something very spicy, schug or whatever. Give me water. I think I drink the whole water. Do I have to say beracha? The halacha is no, because you need to understand.
The intention is
The halacha says when someone is thirsty, when you thirsty, it's only about water. You only say bracha on water when you drink it when you're thirsty. Question they ask you in the Beit Din. I'm giving you a juice. What beracha? Shehakol. I'm giving you water. What's the beracha? Shehakol. Next tricky question.
Hold on, I got a question about that.
Hold on. Quick tricky question. What beracha you say? You're not thirsty. But the teacher says everybody must drink. It's a filter if it's hot today. There's a cup of water. Would you say beracha?
no.
The teacher must drink. No.
No.
Agree. Juice. Everybody must drink. But I don't have water. I just have apple juice. Or I have orange juice. Drink from whatever you have. But I'm not thirsty. Everybody must drink now a full cup. He's drinking the juice. He's not thirsty. The teacher said, would he say beracha over the juice?
No.
Yes.
No.
Why yes?
Because he enjoying the flavor?
Enjoy the flavor.
Oh, yeah.
Because your mouth enjoys the flavor. Question.
So if it's juice, any juice, it's Shehakol Bigvaro. But if it's grape juice, is Borot Geffen?
Yes.
Correct.
Only grape juice.
Yes.
Only grape juice.
What about if you make the
Juice because it's specialized. The Geffen, we'll talk about this one day. Why Geffen are specialized? They have special bracha. Okay.
What about if you cook the orange and you made the juice?
Shehakol.
That's what. Anything that's not from its original form in Shehakol, like you squeeze the juice, you drink
Right.
the juice, it's no longer.
The juice that comes out of the fruit or the vegetables gets Shehakol, the bracha Shehakol. If it's smashed or mashed fruit or vegetables or mashed potatoes, it still keeps its beracha. You know, this is a mashed potatoes. It will be adama. If it changes form that you cannot recognize it anymore, then it probably will be Shehakol. When someone is thirsty and wishes to drink water, he must recite the blessing of Shehakol Niya Bidvaro. If he drinks revi'it is a little bit less than 3 ounces. Sorry, 3 ounces, or around 86 cc. It's not much. It's the minimum amount required. Can you give me the cup? This one. Required when we do the 4 cups on Passover. So this one has 9 ounces. 1/3, it's the minimum required to say bracha after. Before you always say bracha, even if it's a little sip. I didn't want to use euros because I didn't want to upside down. If he drinks a revi'id of water at one time, he must recite the blessing of Borei Nefashot Rabot afterward. This rule applies even if the person was only slightly thirsty. Likewise, if someone wishes to drink water in order to cool off on a hot summer day, he must recite this blessing even if he feels no actual thirst. The fact that he derives pleasures from drinking the water obligates him to recite the blessing. So, nonetheless, you're not enjoying, but what do you want to do it? Why you want to do it? To cool down your body. You have a reason why, right? It's not because someone forced you or you decided the next 30 minutes you're going to finish this bottle. So you don't have to say bracha each one. If someone is not at all thirsty and he wishes to drink water, he is not to recite any blessing before drinking or afterward. For example, if someone feels that the food he ate stuck in his throat and he wishes to drink water to wash it down, he must not recite any blessing for that water.
Or when you're coughing, you just want to calm down your throat and drink water.
Sorry?
You're coughing and you want to drink
Exactly. It's another good example. Let me conclude with the next halakha. If it is a hot, dry day and someone wishes to drink water to avoid becoming dehydrated later on, but he is not at all thirsty, at this time he must not recite any blessings for the drinking of this water. Likewise, if someone wishes to drink extra water in preparation for a long fast, such as Yom Kippur or Tisha B'Av, he must not recite any blessing for the water unless he is thirsty at the time he drinks it. Those, by the way, who follow my instructions before Yom Kippur went through the Yom Kippur without feeling any thirst and any hunger. The trick was to drink before and not to eat salty, spicy, or sour food, because it absorbs the liquid in your body and it will make you thirsty. I think we'll stop here for today. We'll continue because there's much more halachot and I thought I'm going to finish, but we're going to talk about medications and stuff like that, Be'ezrat Hashem, later on. Any questions? So before you leave, if you didn't get the membership form, please take it from me. It's preferable with credit card or from the bank that comes directly to support Oheb Israel, support learning Torah and families in need. Okay? This is a must in order to participate in our group. Any questions? I want to wish each and everyone here bracha, much parnasa. If you want to get, the rule is to give. This is how Hashem set it up in the world. You want to get, you have to give.
Yeah.
If you're stingy, if you're cheap, Hashem will be cheap with you. You be generous, Hashem will be generous with you. Simple rules, you can test me. You don't test me, test Hashem. Hashem said himself. You can test me. That's the only thing in the Torah that Hashem said you can test me. All the other things you can't test Hashem. Hashem said, you give, I'll show you that I'm going to give you even more when you give.
Malachi 3:10.
Very good. Malachi chapter Gimel Pasuk Yud. Want to wish you to be healthy, Be'ezrat Hashem. Shalom Bayit.
Amen.
Success and behind everything you do. Whatever you have a business, or want to open a business, or you want to have whatever you want to have, you want to wish to your family. Be'ezrat Hashem, I wish you that Hashem will fulfill your wishes to the best.
Amen.
On behalf of Oheb Israel Foundation, I want to thank you. See you Be'ezrat Hashem next week. It's probably going to be Again, 7:15. Probably here till Bezrat Hashem, Elishama will feel better, and we're praying that Bezrat Hashem will be completely healthy. And what he suffers now, I'm telling you, I suffered for almost 6 months. And my father has it, and it started from my daughter that she got. I think he got the same thing. It's some type of virus that makes you cough, even if you don't want. If you talk much or you have to cough, and you don't want to be around people because people doesn't feel comfortable when you're coughing so much. I had it for almost 6 months. Years ago, thank God. So wishing him from here, Refuah Shelema, and speedy recovery to the Medina's family that was sick for so many years. This Torah class is on their name. And believe me guys, to host a Torah class, it brings beracha to your home. Any questions about mezuzot, any questions about membership, please see me after class. See you next time.